We are back. This is Ryan Moon on Parlay News, where we are covering the hottest sports prediction markets on Kalshi right now. Our show today is about how bettors are piling nearly $3 million on Scottie Scheffler at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, even though he's trailing the leader by a whopping 7 strokes. Can a guy who's 7 shots back and switching drivers mid-tournament actually win the Arnold Palmer Invitational? Or are we watching the market make the same mistake it always makes, overvaluing brand names when the scoreboard screams otherwise? Because right now, Scottie Scheffler is sitting at -2 after round 1 at Bay Hill, and the betting markets are treating him like he's leading. DraftKings has him at 6-1 odds. That's nearly identical to Daniel Berger, who just posted a bogey-free 63 and leads by 7 shots. 7 shots. The market has poured $2.74 million into Scheffler contracts this week. That's more volume than the next 6 players combined. And I'm sitting here, your friendly neighborhood AI host who definitely doesn't have money on this, wondering if we're witnessing sharp money or just stubborn money. Because let me tell you, this feels a lot like when retail traders keep averaging down on a position that's clearly not working. It'll come back, bro. It always comes back. Meanwhile, the chart looks like a ski slope. Let me paint you the full picture of what's happening at Bay Hill, because this isn't just about one Thursday round. This is about Arnold Palmer's ghost, Scottie's redemption script, and whether the most dominant player on the planet can overcome a deficit he keeps creating for himself. Bay Hill isn't some resort course where guys shoot 20 under, and Thursday doesn't matter. This place has played above par for 9 straight years. The average score recently was over 72.5 strokes. That's brutal. This is the final major tune-up before Augusta, held on one of the most punishing non-major venues on tour. Winners here arrive at the Masters with the ultimate confidence boost. Falter here, and you're scrambling to find form in 3 weeks. It's like the difference between walking into earnings season with a green portfolio versus panic selling at the bottom. Scheffler enters as the world number 1, the betting favourite, the guy who makes golf look like a spreadsheet. But here's the pattern that's emerging. He keeps starting slow. The PGA Tour's own preview crew explicitly noted his tendency to begin tournaments in neutral. At the Genesis Invitational, he opened with a 74 and spotted the field 8 shots before mounting a comeback. Thursday at Bay Hill, another 70, functional but unspectacular, while switching to a new driver mid-preparation. Now the bull case for Scheffler is actually compelling, and this is where the market might be smarter than it looks. Reports indicate he gained nearly a stroke on the field with that new driver in round 1. If that's real and not just Thursday variance, it's massive. Bay Hill's long par 4s demand elite driving to set up manageable approach yardages. Scheffler hit 10 greens in regulation Thursday, well below his norm. For a guy who routinely finishes top 5 in greens hit, that's the upside lever. If he returns to his typical 13 or 14 greens per round, he's creating 6 to 8 more birdie looks. That's enough to post 66 or 67 over rounds 2 and 3 and climb right back into this thing. But here's where it gets interesting. The market isn't just pricing Scheffler against some anonymous field. He's giving away 7 shots to Daniel Berger, who just played the round of the decade at this venue. Berger's 63 wasn't lucky, it was technically perfect. Bogey-free, built on clinical wedge play from 100 to 150 yards. His longest made putt was around 12 feet, which tells you he was hitting approaches to 6 to 10 feet consistently. That's major championship level proximity.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
And this isn't just another tournament for Berger. Last August at the BMW Championship, he broke his right ring finger. Months of rehab, swing modifications, those dark nights, wondering if he'd ever return to elite form. The psychological toll of watching peers compete while sidelined. Thursday's 63 is validation that the comeback is real. For Berger, this is every athlete who's faced career-threatening injury and wondered if they'd ever get back. If he wins, that's the ultimate Arnold Palmer Invitational story, perseverance and grit on the course of golf's ultimate icon of those exact qualities. But Scheffler isn't just chasing Berger. Collin Morikawa and Ludvig Aberg are both sitting at -6, tied for second. And this is where the narrative gets layered, because both of these guys have their own Bay Hill stories. Morikawa is carrying last year's disappointment here as explicit motivation. He had a chance to win, didn't, and it still bothers him. This time, he arrives with elite ball-striking form and the knowledge that Bay Hill's firm, windy profile suits his precision over-power game. He's the sport's premier iron player on an iron player's golf course. A win here cements his identity heading into Augusta as the guy who wins the hard ones. Then there's Aberg, 25 years old, the sport's most explosive young talent, sitting at -6 with a 66 that needs context. His round came in the afternoon wave, which played nearly 2 strokes harder than the morning conditions Berger exploited. On a quality-adjusted basis, Aberg's 66 is effectively a 64 compared to Berger's morning 63. That matters. It signals Aberg isn't just hanging around, he's outplaying the field when conditions are at their most demanding. This kid is basically the meme stock that actually has fundamentals. If Aberg wins here, the narrative becomes the torch is passing faster than anyone expected. Scheffler, Morikawa, and Rory McIlroy would still be in the picture, but Aberg winning at Arnold's Place, in tough conditions, against the best field of the spring, announces him as a legitimate major threat at Augusta in 3 weeks. So where's the value in all this chaos? The books have Berger at 5-1, roughly 16.7% implied probability. Scheffler at 6-1, 14.3%. Morikawa at 7-1, 12.5%. Aberg at 15-2, 11.8%. Here's my read. The market is underpricing Aberg. His 66 came in conditions that were 2 strokes harder than Berger's 63. If Friday's draw gives Aberg calm morning conditions, he could easily post 65 or 66 and take the outright lead. At 15-2, he's offering value compared to Morikawa at 7-1, especially given Morikawa's psychological baggage at this venue and Aberg's superior quality of score in round 1. The real contrarian play? Fade Berger. Not because his 63 was fluky, it wasn't, but because bogey-free rounds at Bay Hill don't cluster. Tour data shows players who post bogey-free rounds in difficult events typically regress toward field average in subsequent rounds. Berger's approach proximity will normalize. His longest made putt being around 12 feet suggests he was hitting it close, but that level of precision is nearly impossible to sustain for 72 holes. The market is pricing him at 16.7% when his true win probability is probably closer to 9 or 10%. That's the kind of mispricing that makes traders salivate. If you're choosing between backing Scheffler's grinded-out excellence or betting on the field to outlast a first-round leader who's playing his first fully healthy event in 8 months, the math favors the field. Scheffler plus Aberg combined to beat Berger is the sharp play.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
But back to our opening question. Can Scheffler actually win from 7 back with a new driver and a pattern of slow starts? The answer is yes, but it requires 3 specific things to break right. First, his iron play needs to normalize from Thursday's merely solid to his typical elite, unlocking 3 to 4 more birdies per round. Second, conditions need to harden over the weekend, increasing volatility and allowing his superior scrambling to shine while others bleed strokes. Third, at least one of Berger, Morikawa, or Aberg needs to post a 72 or 73 and tighten the leaderboard. If those 3 things happen, Scheffler enters Sunday within 2 or 3 shots of the lead, and his closer mentality multiple major championships in high-pressure Sunday rounds becomes the edge. At 6-1 odds, you're not getting a steal, but you're getting fair value on the best player on the planet doing what he does best, grinding out wins when conditions get hard and talent separates from variance. So yeah, he can win from 7 back, but the market pricing him nearly identical to the leader tells you something important. Bay Hill rewards cumulative excellence over hot starts, and Scottie Scheffler is the definition of cumulative excellence. The question isn't whether he can climb back. It's whether Berger, Aberg, or Morikawa can hold him off when the course turns mean and the pressure turns real. Thanks for listening to Parlay News. You can support our podcast by following the show, rating it 5 stars, and telling your friends. Remember, the content on this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and do not constitute financial advice. Prediction markets are extremely risky, and you should never play with more money than you are willing to lose. Always do your own research. Catch you on the flip.
Grep News. Thomas.